All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the continuation of my guitar series. What I plan to do is do a quick video on how the file is created. I followed the tutorial of the YouTuber Rum Runner Guitars. Put a link in the description. Very informative. I like his style, and yes, I'm going to kind of mimic what he's doing, and hopefully we can get this thing out on the table and get it going. One of the things I have to do is, since I glued the boards up, I used 3/4 stock, which obviously it's a little bit thinner than 3/4, so the total thickness is 2 1/8 inches. Standard guitar body stock is 1 3/4 inches, so I've made a file that I'm just going to do a mill pass on it to get it down to 1 3/4 inches. Once that's done, I'll be able to run this file. And it's really cool. I went through the tutorial on how to do it, and so yeah, let's get going with it. I need to get, so what I've done here is I have a new project started, and it's double-sided. Oh, by the way, I'm using Vcarve Pro 11. And I use, my machine is set up for millimeters, so that's what I'm going to be using. And I have a unit converter I use to make sure I get what I need. So I need to change the job size. And for that, my body stock I have is 21 inches, which is 533.4. My height is 16, and that's the correct dimension, 406.4. And my thickness, 1 3/4. So let me get that. 44.45. Okay. So that's my job thickness, the board I'm going to actually be using. The datum position, the point that I zero to for my XY axis, and then I'll set the Z axis out on the material, and that's the height of how it is off the wasteboard. Also, the way this is going to be is because it's a two-sided cut. I'm going to be having, like, looking at the picture here, you'll see the body of the guitar. So there's going to be holes put in to hold the pins, and when that is in place, we flip the body over. I'll show you when I get the thing on here. Alright, so let's open up that file. So I already had one set up. We're going to, oh, where's my stuff? Oh, alright, now here we go. So we can open this up, go to my files, and sure. Spell it correctly. I am doing the Stratocaster 1962 series. Okay, so as you can see, it pretty much fills up the entire area. Okay, we don't need this anymore. What's going on here? Alright. Import. Alright, so let's get this file opened up. Alright, so we're going to hit OK. That loads up the file. Now what we're going to do is we're going to import the drawing, which is there. Okay, So as you can see, we're all the vector selected, and what we're going to do while it's all selected, we're going to go over to this guy here. We're going to center it on the piece. All right, close that off. Now, what we have to do is get rid of all the extra stuff. So basically, go through. You can see I start at the left and pull to the right. It'll select. That grabs just the stuff you want to select. You go back the other way, it grabs anything that it was touching. So that's just a little pointer there. So basically what we have to do is we just have to go through and get this stuff deleted. We don't need any of those holes. That out of the way. That. I will leave the center line here. Okay, I think that's enough. That guy. that. I'm going off of how Rum Runner Guitars did his. If I miss a couple steps, I apologize. Basically, we're cleaning everything up. We don't need the screw holes, and as he said in his video, we don't need, oops, I want to keep that for a second. Alright, stop touching it. Get it in there. We're just creating the pockets. He does mention that the different types of pickups you can use, they may vary a little bit. So basically, oops, wrong one. We're gonna drill the holes. We'll use the actual pickup and drill the anchor holes. And the file that I'm using is basically where you could hand build this with a bandsaw, and it has all the different dimensions for everything. Don't need that, don't need, like I said, we're going to keep that center line. That and that. Let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to rename it that. Strat 1. Yes, we're going to replace. Okay. Now this is a hole path into the control area from the pickup. And this is not needed because we're going to bring this pocket into here. And that'll happen once we start node editing. So we're going to get rid of that. Okay, we're going to set all the lines we need to carve on their own layers. And the first thing we probably should do is the original layer up here, layer 1. So that's nothing. So that's our important layer here. So we're going to show all. Okay, this guy up here, layer 1, we don't need. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so what we want to do is rename this, and we're just going to call it body. Okay, that's the entire body. That's the layer name. So what we're going to do is we're going to select that. Move to layer body. It's already on that layer, right? So click off of that, click back on, come up, and we're going to recolorize it. Let's make it red. Okay, so now everything's red because everything's still associated with it. So then our next item, we want to add layer. This is the control pocket. Okay. We want to make it green. We want to have all the individual colors green. So now we can come down here and click this, right click it, move to layer, control pocket. So now it's green. So once I start going around and getting all the pockets set up, each section is going to have its own color. Alright, we got to do one more edit over here. As you can see, the line is not connected. So what we have to do, come up to here, and we're going to show only this. We're going to select that, edit the node, and I believe we can just click that node, join, and there it is. Okay. Sorry, I'm bouncing in and out. We can come back in, show all, and we're done. Do a quick save. Alright, so what we got to do is we got to import the next file to get the trim pocket file on the top. So let's open this up. We're going to use the back file. I'm going to move that, grab it, move it out of the way. I want to get it lined up so I can use my arrow key to, that's good right there. Close that. Now we can just start getting rid of all the lines we don't need. Okay. That. We can come and use our clip tool. Get that clipped. Like that. Still good. I saw it move a little bit. Okay. Get rid of that guy. Okay, so now we have to get it to be in the correct position. So first we have to flip it, which is here. Gonna flip horizontally, close it. Now we got to rotate. So we're going to rotate 180 degrees, and there you go. Okay, so now close that. Should be able to move it into position. Okay, let me get it magnified. That's going to do it for us there. Okay, so now that's there. So now let's click off of it. We need to change that name. Trim pocket. Okay, so now we need to just view this. Show only this, so now that's the new line. We don't need that outside body line, so we click off that. Now we can go back to show all. Show all. we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over. We're going to import the back file again. We're going to do a rotate object 180 degrees. Okay, and then we need to move it in position. Close, and then I'm going to zero in here. I think that's right there, and then over here, and that lines us up. Okay, close that. Oops. Alright, so what we have to do is get rid of all stuff we don't need. Line. That. We already have that line in there, so we can see that there we're lined up. Get rid of that. So now if I was going to cut the back side halfway through, I could leave that outer body line, but I'm not going to. I'm going to carve straight down from the top section with the long enough bit, and that way I won't have to cut through the other side. Doesn't leave a ridge edge on it, and less sanding. So we just got to get rid of that. Okay, so now we come down here, and right now that is called that. We need to change the name. Trim bottom pocket. Let's do light blue on that. But then we also need to have another layer. And how I remember these names, I don't know. Okay, so let's click off. Oh, let me change that to pink. So now I just need to select that guy. Right click, move to the spring claw layer, so now they're separate. Okay, so now what I have to do is edit these nodes, because we have to pull that in a little bit. Okay, right click, just select, edit those nodes, and that's it. We'll quick save. And that's the back. And we can switch the view, and we see the ghosting of it through. So basically the top pockets will be carved out. I will have the G code that will carve out these pockets. And one of the things I'm going to be adding are pinholes that will actually line up the guitar body. We'll do the bottom first, and when we flip it and we have the pins ready to go, it'll lock in and be able to carve that out. As you can see, it's going to flip horizontally, so the end, it's not going to go side to side, it's going to go front to back, and we want to have the pins in the proper place. Okay, the final step we're going to do, we're going to locate the pinholes. And what we need to do is make sure that they're center along this line, equal distance apart. How we're going to do that is we're going to get this nifty, there it is. Let's get that dragged to to the center here. Snaps on. Okay, so there's our point. Okay, so we need to find it. This time I want to do a quick reference mark here. So we're going to come to the center and we're going to be about right there. We'll call it, write this down so I don't remember, so I don't forget it, I should say. 246, 223. Just a random number. Okay. So I'm just going to close that. We're going to drop in here. We're going to create a 1/4 inch circle, and we can see the lines there. We're going to close that, and we are selected. We're going to go to array. Let's back this out a little bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create 2 circles, 2 holes, and it's going to, off the center, we can control where it goes. So it's going to be on the x-axis. We're going to put in 246.223. Hit copy, and there it is, on the line, that distance. Okay, so now we want to put that there, and just make sure that I don't screw anything up. So we're going to go negative 246.223, pops it in. So what that represents is the 2 holes that are going to control where the piece of material is on the CNC. So when we flip it, it'll be in the same spot, and we'll continue, and all of our pockets will line up. Very nifty. I learned that trick from Mr. Rum Runner Guitars. Okay. Let's save this, and we are ready to create tool paths. So let's get going on that. Okay, before we do the tool paths, I have to put the 3D scalloped edges on the arm contour and the underside contour. So Mr. Rum Runner Guitars provided an STL file to use, whereas he uses the Aspire version of the software, which you can edit the 3D files. Unfortunately, with the Vcarve Pro, you can only import the files, and you can do some heights and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come here, import, where's it at, files, back to here. Oop, wrong import, file import, a 3D component right there. Okay, so that's what we are importing. I have to change its position, so we're going to do that. We're going to bring it all the way up, import, so it's kind of in the middle, right? There it is. So now we want to move it up onto that edge right there. I think that's what I needed it to be. Let's close that. Okay, so that's on there. Let's flip it over. One of the things that Vcarve Pro only allows is one imported file. So I missed a step. So what I have to do, let me undo this, save it. We have to make a second file. So file, save as, we're going to call this backside. Okay. So now we want to go back to the front. File, import component, arm contour, through, drop it, import it. We have to move it. Maybe that's where it has to go. Close and save. Alright, I flipped over the file and I've added the back section of the contour. I just got to move that into place. Get a little close. Just has to follow that edge, and you'll see once I do the other tool pass how it falls into place. I believe that's about where we want it. Okay. Go ahead and save. Okay, so now we're going to do the tool pass. I know in part 3 of Rum Runner Guitar video, he had to change some of the pocket depths. So I went through and I got all the ones that need to be corrected. So we're going to add those now. So let me pin that open. Get that over here. And we will do the neck pocket first. So we're going to go there. Create a pocket. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is, I already have the bit selected, but I have to put the correct depth in. And he went from 5/8 of an inch deep pocket, and it was a little shy, so he updated it. So we're going to do 17.395. These are millimeters, which is a half of a 16th over 5/8. It could be 11th, just a hair under 11/16. So we've got that depth, bit selected. We're going to do a ramp plunge offset. Everything's good. We're going to name this neck pocket. And I'll add a 1 to it because this is the order it's going to go. So as I'm pulling the files, that's where it'll be. So we calculate that, and we can kind of do a preview, and it's cut that out. Okay, close that. Let's get on to the next one. The pickup pockets, right there. Same thing, we're going to add a pocket using the same bit. The pickups, he changed it to go a little deeper than 5, everything was 5/8. He changed it to go a little deeper, so the new number is 17.78 millimeters. Okay, same thing, everything's coming down. We're just going to name that pickup pocket 2. Okay, so that's there. Calculate, and there. We're going to move on to the next one. Back to our view. We are going to do the control pocket. That is a 1.5 inch deep pocket, which is 38.1. Everything's the same. We just got to rename it. Calculate. Oops, I selected that. Calculate it. There it is. Close it. The jack pocket is the same depth, so we're going to do that. Same. Calculate. There it is. Close. Okay. And then the last top pocket is the trim top pocket or bridge pocket, and it's a shallow carve, and he recommended just to do 1/4 inch, and 1/4 inch is 6.35 millimeter, and that's what we are doing. Calculate, preview all, and there you go. Okay, pretty neat. So now what we need to also do now is we need to do the rough and the arm taper or contour. So what we have to do is we're going to do a roughing pass. I have an end mill selected, the 1/4 inch. Everything's pretty much set as default. We're going to go 3D roughing. I can just leave it like that, so we're going to calculate that. Okay, close that. Come back up so we can run a second pass, which is the finish tool path. We're going to use an 1/8 inch ball nose. Everything's set up for speed and depth cut. 3D finish. I keep hitting the E, typing the name, calculate. Okay, so now we can preview all. Okay, now let's reset the preview and do that again. So as you can see how it tapered it, hopefully I get a better visual on it. It leaves a little line here, but that's more of a sanding issue, which is not a problem. There's going to be some sanding. So let's get out of that view and let's do the body so you can really see what it's going to look like. So that is a different tool path, which is a profile. We're at 0 and it's going to cut through the whole piece, which is 44.45 millimeter or 1 3/4 inches. So we have the bit already selected, 1/4 inch. It'll be able to have some long bits, it'll cut through it. It's on the outside, and we don't have to really ramp it because it's going to do so many passes per. Okay, we want to name that body final, which is fine. And we want to add tabs. We got to add tabs that will, what they do is they lock on in certain points and it leaves material, so the piece of wood is still intact with the main piece of material, and that allows it to stay in the right position, and it'll go past it, and once it's done, oh, somebody's texting. when those are left in place, when it pulls off, we take those off. We cut off the tab. Well, we cut through the tab with a jigsaw or whatever we need, a sharp utility knife, and then that'll be sanded down. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to locate some. All right, so let's add some tabs. Edit tabs. They're going to be 3/8 of an inch long and 1/8 inch thick. So now we just click where we want them. Keep one there. That's not going all the way through, so we can add one there. The contour is going to be on the other side when I do that toolpath, and then there, there. I don't think I need one there, but I'll add one there. And up here, let's see what it does. Okay, close, calculate. And there it is. So as you can see, it cut it out. There's the tabs. Okay. And the backside contour where it's going to be here, that tab's going to be removed, so I need to move that probably up in this area. Maybe I'll shift this one down a little bit because I don't want that to interfere. So let's go back, close that. We're going to go back into that. I'm going to edit the tabs. We're going to get rid of that guy, and put it a little closer there. It should span, no problem. So now let's recalculate, reset. Okay. Reset, preview, all tool pass. And there it is. Okay. Now you can see here it left a little ridge. Well, I'm going to use a round over bit on my router, and that's just going to be routed, so that'll come off, and with the sanding I don't have to worry about it. I can fine tune that a little bit more, but I think we're going to be okay. We're going to leave it. So then with the control, we have to connect this to here, but it's just going to be a drill bit, a hand drill bit right in to connect the two. There's no plate going through it. I can do that by hand, and that's not a problem. Okay. All right. So we're going to save that, and then we're going to open up the backside file. So let's do this. And there it is. Okay. So let's go ahead and set up the spring pocket. Pin that. Go here, it's going to be that. The depth on this is 5/8 of an inch, which is 15.875 millimeter. Same bit, same everything. We're going to call that the spring claw pocket. that, close that. Oops, go to here. Choose that guy, pocket. That is a little deeper. It is just a hair over 1.5 inches. And that is 39.624. It's just below the trim top pocket. And that way they're gonna just cut each other out because it's a hole through to the other side. Everything's good, so we're going to call that the trim bottom pocket. I will get them numbered as I do the G-code. Calculate that. Okay, so that's done. Close that. Now we just got to do this guy, which is a 3D contour. We'll have the end mill, 1/4 inch, roughing. That's the belly contour. Oops, belly 1. Calculate, and let's close that. And we're going to run finish path on that guy. Same ball nose, we'll call it 3D finish. Belly 2. Calculate, and we can preview all tool paths. Okay, and it takes it right down, and this is the edge from the other side. Remember, we had to make 2 copies of the file to get the tool paths, but that's the edge where the tab I had to take off. Basically, I did it so I could use 2 files in the same 2 3D files on the same project. But you have to do a little maneuvering, and once I save these, everything's going to be the same. So we can close this off and save it. Alright, so I think that's going to wrap up all the tool paths. I'm just going to save everything to G-code, and we're going to get this file out on the CNC machine and start doing the cuts. Alright, as always, thanks for coming by and sticking the video out with me. Hope you learned a little bit. I know I've been learning as I go, and yeah, I hope to get the project carving very, very soon. Alright, as always, please like and subscribe the channel and ring that bell on the bottom for notifications. Alright, have a good day.